Hello everyone and welcome to another top 10 list. This time I'm going to be doing a top 10 of David Gilmour, who was the lead guitarist and lead vocalist of Pink Floyd. These are going to be 10 songs off of the solo albums that he released from 1978 to 2015. He released 4 solo albums within that period of time. And so we're going to start with number 10, and this is off of the David Gilmour debut album, 1978. It's called I Can't Breathe Anymore. This song starts with an a cappella David Gilmour vocal, and then it goes into the music. This song, I feel, seemed to represent what possibly David was feeling during that time between 77 and 79, between the release of Animals in 77 and the release of The Wall in 79. So he did a solo album in 78. And this song, I feel, represents possibly what he was going through at that time. There was some struggles going on in the band, and I'm sure that, it felt very overwhelming at times. But number 10, I Can't Breathe Anymore by David Gilmour, off the David Gilmour debut album. Number 9 is going to be a song called Out of the Blue, and it's off his 1984 About Face album. That album sounds very 80s. A lot of those bands from the 70s, artists from the 70s, once they got into the 80s, their sound changed because they had to, I guess, get with the times. A lot of people will say, well, they sold out. Listen to, their 80s albums. But a lot of those bands, if they hadn't have changed their sound at that time, they would not have made it through the 80s. So they did have to do that. They did have to have that glossy production and the keyboards, the way they sounded, and the cheesy gated drums, which I loathe. But, they had to do what they had to do to survive. This one is a little different, though. This track sounds almost like it could have been from one of his earlier albums. Very slow track, very beautiful. Out of the Blue, number 9. The next one is a very interesting song. This album came out in 2006. He had released a solo album, shockingly, after a long stretch of time, like 22 years. And he released this was On an Island. This song is interesting because it's very slow. It almost sounds like something you would hear from the Division Bell. But it also has, I think it was Graham Nash and David Crosby are backing vocals on this track. Very ethereal song, it makes you just want to relax, and it's a very sleepy type song, but very good song, On an Island, number 8. Number 7 is called Where We Start, and it's also off On an Island. It's the last song. This song is a very slow song, but it builds up. The beauty in this song is, again, just like in Out of the Blue, David's voice, so recognizable, so smooth, and just the way he presents this song is just... it's no one else could have done it like David Gilmour. This is one of his love songs, and it's just a very beautiful song, and I enjoy it. Okay, the next one is called A Boat Lies Waiting, and this was off of Rattle That Lock, which was his last album that he had released in 2015. This one was about the death of his friend and bandmate Rick Wright. Rick Wright had played with David Gilmour in Pink Floyd, and later on with some of his solo works, went on tour with him. There's a great show called Live in Gdansk, and you can see Rick Wright at work there. After he passed, David Gilmour released this song on his album a few years later. When I first heard this song, I thought of my grandfather who passed away in 2011, and I could barely get through the song. I still have a hard time getting through this song, but luckily it doesn't last that long. But it's just a very touching piece of music, the way he sings and the playing. The next song is called The Blue, and it is off On an Island. This song is just a majestic piece of music. David's voice is just remarkable on this track. I love the progression. I love the arrangement, the way the song is arranged. It's just a wonderful song. Coming in at number 4, I believe it's number 4, is a song off the David Gilmour debut album called Short and Sweet. This was also recorded by English folk singer Roy Harper on his albums, one of his albums, and he also sings with David on this song on the David Gilmour album. I love this song. It's not really slow, but well, it's kind of slow, but it's not like what you would think. It has an uplifting feel to the song. You know, there's a part in the song that says, "You ask, what is the quality of life?" Just a beautiful song. So I really enjoy that one at number 4. Number 3 is going to be a song off the David Gilmour debut album again. It is my favorite David Gilmour solo album. It's called There's No Way Out of Here. It has an harmonica in it. It's more upbeat than a lot of his other songs. It's probably one of the most well-known songs that he released. It sounds very Pink Floyd. I mean, it's right after the Animals album, right before right before The Wall. Yeah, and I think this was his single or one of his singles that was released off his debut album, and I think it got pretty good reviews, or pretty high in the charts as well. But it's called There's No Way Out of Here, number 3. Number 2 is a song from his last album, Rattle That Lock, called In Any Tongue. This is probably the most Pink Floyd sounding song in the David Gilmour solo discography, and that's saying a lot because a lot of them do sound like Floyd. But this sounds like it could have been on The Division Bell. It sounds like it could have been on, a song. It sounds like it could have been on some of the later albums even. But definitely The Division Bell. It's called In Any Tongue. Beautiful song. Wonderful lyrics. But the guitar solo in this song is so... takes you back to, Wish You Were Here, takes you back to Animals, takes you back to that David Gilmour classic guitar sound. I love the guitar solo. It's extremely beautiful. Amazing work. And my number 1 favorite David Gilmour solo song is from his debut album, and it's called So Far Away. And it is a type of love song, I suppose. I love the way David sings this song. I love the piano in the song. I love the guitar work. Everything about this song is perfect to me. And even though it does sound a bit like Floyd, it is probably what I would say is representative of David Gilmour's, work during that time, but also all encompassing everything he had done. So Far Away is by far my favorite David Gilmour song. I could listen to it a lot. It's probably within my top 50 songs of all time. So go out and listen. I'm also in any of my top 10s. If you guys watch, I do have a playlist, a Spotify playlist that I link, and this is no exception. So if you want to go hear some of these songs that I've listed, I will have the link in the bottom down at the description. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe, I really would appreciate that as well. If you like the content here, if you got any ideas, shoot me a message or make a comment. And I want to do as much as I can to get this channel going. And yeah, that's it. You guys take care, and hope you Hope you have a wonderful day. Ciao.